Okay, good afternoon everybody and welcome to the first IMGS Location Publisher Mobile webinar. With us today you have Kieran Carrick, myself, the General Manager with IMGS. Sitting behind me here is Kieran Canan, Senior Support Engineer with IMGS. Moderating across the room is Amanda Donegan, our Marketing Executive, waving away there. And downstairs, going to be showing some FME things later on, is Tony Kent, who will be who's too shy to put his face on the camera today, but no, he's down a different machine working away. So we're going to kick off. We're going to turn off the webcams because it kind of slows down the demos. I'd just like to say thank you for coming today. If you have any questions, please write the questions into the Q&A panel on the right-hand side of the webinar toolbar there, and we'll cover the questions at the end. So I was going to stop sharing and we'll kick off with the presentation. Okay, so today's webinar is on Location Publisher Mobile 4.3. So the agenda for today is possible. We're going to start off just by discussing some of the possible uses of Mobile GIS. Then we're going to cover Location Publisher Mobile overview, and then talk about the new 4.3 releases. And then we're going to give a demonstration of Location Publisher Mobile 4.3. followed by a quick discussion around how we can integrate that data that's captured in the field with FME, and then use FME desktop and server to publish it around your organization. And finish off just with a brief note on some of the advanced GPS units we can provide you, and then talk about some of the upcoming webinars and events that we have. And then finally, we'll address any of the questions that come up during the webinar at the end. So IMGS, we deliver innovative spatial solutions for the desktop, web, and mobile, built on our partners' technology, Intergraph, Leica Geosystems, and Safe Software. These are designed to meet the challenges of government and mapping agencies and utilities and communication customers. And our customers include Ordnance Survey in Ireland, Northern Ireland, ESB Aircom, Northern Ireland Electricity, Irish Naval Service, and every local authority in Ireland, and BP Ireland. So some of the possible uses for Mobile GIS, well, for a utility organization, they can record the location of missing assets. They can capture the details of as-built records. They can also record asset inspections to ensure to see the condition and the quality of the assets. And they can provide job routing for teams over large areas. And they can also identify potential network hazards. For example, tree growth for overhead lines, damaged poles, or whatever. Local authorities can record the location of customer care incidents such as potholes and graffiti, etc. They can capture local authority assets such as trees, street furniture, update the condition records of assets, and to support maintenance planning and figure out where they're going to have capital and operational spend, and also record the on-site inspections of third-party work, e.g. utility road openings, planning enforcement, etc. And for mapping agencies, they can support the change detection process by identifying changes in the land base, provide field access to large-scale mapping data sets for field updates, and provide routing information to mobile teams. So what is Location Publisher Mobile? Well, Location Publisher Mobile allows you to publish to any web-enabled device, be it a smartphone, either iPhone, Android, or Windows, or a tablet, iPad, Android, or Windows. And it's designed to operate over low bandwidth and comes with built-in assisted GPS integration. We also have full WMS mapping support for Ordnance Survey Ireland Map, Genie, Google Maps, Bing Map, and OpenStreetMap. So really providing a very rich interface to your mapping data on mobile, phone, and tablet devices. With Location Publisher Mobile, you can do data capture in the field, and our solution helps you streamline workflows. So there's no upload and download of data, having to go disconnected data sets of data. It allows you to instantly capture data in the field and that's sent back to the office. As well as that, you can capture photo and video, and it can work very securely. Like, for example, there's no local data on your device, so if the device is lost, it's not going to end up in the papers as a government agency or utility has lost some secure information. So we also fully support APN models where the mobile phones have a kind of VPN directly back into your office. Once a record is captured on the mobile device, our solution automatically generates spatial reports against the new feature. So it will tell the back office user, for example, what is the nearest street, what engineering area is this in, is it beside a river, is it touching some other feature. And also the solution would also generate 2 emails with map and report, which can then be sent to either department managers, supervisors, or whatever. Our solution also allows you to separate the data entry forms from the mapping, so we can easily integrate with existing mobile attribute solutions. So, for example, like if you have already got a mobile solution that doesn't have mapping in it, through our easy-to-use interfaces, we can actually integrate the solutions together. We also, last year, when we released the 4.2 version of Location Publisher Mobile, we certified it against Windows Tablet, Windows 7, that it has full stylus support, supports a large button interface, and also has full GPS integration and to provide accurate capture, so it can work with things like the Leica CS25. But what we're here to talk today about is Location Publisher Mobile 4.3. So with the Mobile 4.3 release, the aim was to remove the programming and the need for developers to create the data entry forms, to make it very easy for GIS officers or GIS technicians to be able to rapidly create data entry forms for mobile survey. So we did that by integrating Location Publisher Mobile with Location Publisher Form Builder, which allows you to build and publish forms in minutes without programming. So it can build forms for any job function, be it incident reporting, asset management, work orders. In essence, everything we showed you on the examples for the utility, mapping agency, and local authority customers. But it's not just simple forms. The solution is clever enough to include the ability to build drop-down lists to ensure high-quality data is captured in the field. And these drop-down lists are also context-driven, so they can, if you select, for example, a primary type of a road as being concrete, then the secondary type will only be concrete types, and it will automatically filter the list based on that list. And the benefits of this type of solution is it will improve data quality, but also while providing real-time access to data in the field through a controlled form without having to get developers involved. With the 4.3 then, in the Location Publisher Administration tools, we've updated the configuration for Form Builder. So in there now, when you're setting up a feature for data capture, you can define how each of the fields is going to be displayed in the data entry form. So you can mark fields, A, that they should or should not be displayed in the form, B, that they're read-only or not. For example, if you have a auto-generated ID, the ID will, so an increment auto-generated ID, you can mark that field as read-only because you don't want anybody entering in the value. But the big thing is you can set the fields to be either a text box, which allows you to do free text, or a drop-down where you can pick a list of values from a drop-down list, or to pick where you can attach a file, or a data control. So this gives you a wide variety of ways of very quickly capturing the information in the field. And the big thing that we provided with the Form Builder is the ability to select pick lists, so that when the person is in the field, they don't have to do manual data entry. If you're using a mobile device like a phone or a tablet, you haven't time to be entering in details, using a stylus or picking keys. What you want to be able to do is just pick a value from a drop-down list and quickly assign it. So with the Pick List Manager, you can select a table in your database, and that table will automatically then be displayed in the form when the user goes to capture it. So without further ado, I'll give you a demonstration of the new version. Now, because of some of the limitations with the webinar solution, we're not going to be able to show it to you on an iPad or Android device. So we're showing it on my laptop here, but it'll give you most of the functionality that you would see. So if I go into my browser, I'll click on the shortcut, and I'll start off the application. Now, the first thing with Location Publisher Mobile, it will always remember the last location that you were in. But what you can do is you can go to country level. So you can see straight away that we're using Ordnance Survey Map Genie here. So the data is coming in as a WMS. Now, because I'm on a Windows device, I can use the stylus interface. So I can do zoom box, and I can zoom in, and hopefully through the WebEx you can see the maps coming in. Now, if I was on an iPad or iPhone or an Android device that supports pinch and pan, I'd be able to just pinch my fingers or pan my finger and move the map around. But because I'm running today on a Windows device, I can use the buttons here and zoom into Dublin, and zoom down. Now again, my tablet here or my laptop here that I have doesn't actually have a GPS and an assisted GPS, but if it did, I could hit the My Location button and then it would then zoom to that location automatically. And that uses assisted GPS, but I'll just zoom in myself. And you can see the maps are coming back, and you can see we've got Ordnance Survey Map Genie coming on here, really high quality mapping data, which you can then very easily bring to the mobile device. Benefit here is, because we're doing this through web services, you don't have to actually install all the maps for Ordnance Survey onto your device. We can download them through the Map Genie service on the fly, which means actually the footprint on your devices and the overhead is very low. So I can then zoom in, zoom across, and once I get to my location, then I can actually do some data capture. So what I can actually do is I can click on my data capture form, and you see with Location Publisher Mobile now, it will list off all the features that we've set up for capture. So we have a water feature here, a cemetery one, but I'm going to look at the hazards which has been created with our form builder. So I click the hazards, and it now asks me to select a point on the map. Now, because this has been done on devices which doesn't have accurate GPS, we usually capture by using point click on the map, which means it's captured accurately to the land base and the map. If we were using a more advanced GNSS device with accurate GPS, we could do GPS capture, but we're not today, so we're just going to capture off the map. Once I'm happy with my location, I can then say save, and this will then save the hazard feature, and now will up pop my form builder. So you can see the form has popped up. We now have our drop-down list, so carriageway, pothole, all the drop-down lists are coming from the pick list field, so I can pick discoloration, defect, priority, low, moderate, high, surface type, whatever. And in Asset Monitor, it allows me to enter in free text, and then Party Responsible allows me to enter in free text as well. Fishamble Street is the address street, and then the date control comes up on the date. So I can then pick the date, and I can also upload a file. So I can then pick a picture from my drive. So if I go to pictures, I'll pick a picture of my pictures on the device. So I'll pick my little cousin or my little nephew, and we can then save that, and it's saved onto the map, and it's saved back in the database. And remember, that form has been generated without any programming. It just reads the database, generates a drop-down list, and generates a drop-down list and saves it. So I can then go back to the map, close the window, and you can see the features now where I captured it. And you can see there's a little exclamation mark, which is the icon we use for hazards. Every feature can have its own icon, so you can have all sorts of surveys and work jobs all going through one mobile device, and you can do them in that way. So now the other thing is, if you wanted to make a change to that feature, so I can go into the administration screen. So if, for argument's sake, as an administrator, we wanted to change how the fields have been set up, add in a new pick list, take away the pick list, we can go into the administrator, go into the data capture page, and in here we can then pick the feature that we're capturing against, which is hazards, and I can load feature details. And you can see, for those who haven't seen it before, in Location Publisher, we have first off the miscellaneous tab, which actually sets the rules for how data is captured and what level of data can be captured at. For certain things, somebody might say, okay, I only want to capture a complaint at street level. So we might say, okay, that's at the max capture scale is 2 or 1. So it's up to the administrator how far out the user is allowed to capture or not. You can also then, in the form builder configuration, which is the new piece, in here, you can define how each feature is set up. You can say if a feature has an ID, text, and then what type of control it is. So we can say it's either a text box, a drop-down, an upload, or a calendar. So if I go down to my date, you can see it's set as calendar. Now if I put that back to the text box, I can then say I can then once back. I could then save that, and it will then be saved into the database and the change made. So you can also in here change the display names. You can also change the display names if I want to change it. So if I didn't want it, so you can see here. You can see here. Yeah, you can see here what the hazard ID has been is in the database is hazard ID, but the display name is hazard underscore ID. I'm going to refresh the page because I don't think my save button is working, so let me just refresh that and I'll come back in. Yeah, it's actually timed out. So edit user and IMGS. So that's the first one thing to remember is the location publisher admin screen has a log on, so only administrators can make changes to the site. So once you go in, it then does a check to make sure that the admin database is up and running, and it'll return back telling you everything is okay. So you can see there accuracy, layers, everything is working fine. So then I can go down to my data capture again. I can pick my feature, so that's hazards, and load feature details. And in the form builder configuration, you can see now if I want to change my calendar to say a text box and move away from the date control, and maybe I want to put that to date recorded, date record instead of date recorded, and I hit save capture details, and if I just refresh the page on my Location Publisher Mobile, and this time if I do the data capture, I do the hazards, I click a point on the thing here and hit save. Say you want to see that feature, yes. Up pops the form, and you can see straight away the field name has changed. So it's changed to data record as opposed to data recorded. Now that could be that change could be applied instantly across hundreds of mobile devices without the person having to bring the mobile device back into the office. So it is a very useful change. And if I go into the control now, it doesn't allow me to, it doesn't bring up the date control because it's now set as a text field. So very powerfully, very easily, users can then, administrators can control mobile survey, rapidly create mobile forms without actually ever having to bring the people back into the office. And it really supports the whole theory of bring your own device. One other thing I forgot to show was the email integration. So if I now go into my email box here in Gmail, you'll see that at 3:18 there, or 3:05 there a few minutes ago, I got an email saying I captured a new record. If I click on that link, it'll then bring me to the main Location Publisher website and show me the location. Now the reason it's going to we set it up as the main Location Publisher, this could be somebody using the application in their office, and they've got an email saying there is a new complaint, there's a new incident. They can zoom in and you can see instantly the two complaints that I'm after capturing are there on the map. We can see them on the Location Publisher. We can move them if we want, and we can do spatial queries. And that data is now back. So it's from the mobile office straight back into the field for action and moving on. So that's a very quick demonstration. That's a very quick demonstration of the Location Publisher Mobile demo. So what I'm going to do now is just back to my PowerPoint, and once you have that data, one example of where we have customers using this solution is in Waterford City Council, and their sustainable neighbourhood units have been using this for a number of years. I think they started off with iPads and then moved to iPhones, but they've been capturing a number of complaints in the city, which is then passed back into their back office GIS for action, where their administrator then automatically routes the jobs to the appropriate people. I think FME is part of that process. And actually that brings me on to FME integration. So once this data is captured, it's then very easy using FME to take that data and publish it to other data formats, validate it, and actually extract it to MapInfo, Esri, and KML. So I'm actually going to hand over to Tony, who is going to show you FME in action. So Tony is now the presenter.
Yeah, I've controlled that there now. Can you hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, I'll fly through this quickly then. Well, first of all, anyone that's kind of familiar with FME Desktop or kind of have done some training in IMGS might recognize this workspace. It's a fairly simple workspace. I have two readers in it. One of them is reading in the hazards table that Kieran just wrote data to in the SQL 2008 database. And I'm reading in a map info tab file, which is kind of clips the data related to a particular county. That county can be selected as a parameter here in my tester. So I'll just show some options that are shown when I go to run this workspace. Well, I'm not going to use that workspace now. I kind of have a slightly modified one, and I'm bringing it up here on the screen. So you see I'm not actually using the map info tab file or the county option in this instance. Instead, I actually have set up a parameter on the tester here where I have to specify the hazard ID that I want to export from the SQL database that Kieran just wrote to. At the end here, I just have kind of a dummy writer because I'm actually going to run this workspace through FME server. But all the configuration is done within FME Desktop for the time being. So on the left-hand side here, I have a number of parameters set up. So if I click prompt and run up here at the top, you see it prompts me to select the data format I require or the coordinate system. And these are set up in my published parameters section in the navigation window. So I'm just going to right-click on that and show you how it's set up. I manually inserted 5 options for the time being, so Google Earth KML, tab file, shapefile, DGN, and CSV. I've done something very similar with the coordinate system configuration as well, so ITM, Irish Grid, Spherical Mercator, or lat long WGS 84. And here you can see the EPSG values. But what if it occurs where someone wants to extract data from a database but they actually don't have FME Desktop installed or they're not too familiar with how to use FME Desktop? Well, this can be simply published to FME Server by going to File, Publish to FME Server. I have the server installed on my local machine, so I'll just type in some details and the password as well. And next, and you can actually select what folder you want to upload your data or your workspace to then. I actually already have this done from earlier on, so I'm just going to flick the FME server very quickly now. I'll bring up my web user interface. So down the left hand side here, I'll just browse my folders. I have one set up for a webinar. And you see this is my data download by ID workspace that I just created there. So someone can actually get this link direct to the workspace. This could be sent out as part of the email like Kieran showed a couple minutes ago as well. And then all I have to do is go into hit configure, choose what data format they want to export it as. I'm going to go with KML for the time being. Choose the output coordinate system, displaying Google Earth I needed in Spherical Mercator. And then I think the hazard ID that Kieran specified earlier on was 178. That could be anything, 158 if required. But I'm going to go with the one that Kieran captured. And then it's as simple as hitting run workspace over on the right hand side here.
And this, Tony, like we're using ID here just for the handy field, but this could be show me you could be clipping out all the features that have come in today, all the features of a certain area. FME can clip and validate any of the data coming out.
Yeah, it's purely up to how you configure the FME workspace within FME Desktop. It's up to the end user completely how to do this. FME is so configurable. I could talk all day about it, but
you're not going
I don't want to take the shine off Location Publisher for today. So you see, once I run my workspace in my web user interface, it gives me this zip file that can be downloaded by the user. So it's a matter of just clicking that, download it locally, open up my folder, and there's my KML file. So if I double click on that, it should open up in Google Earth here. It'll take a couple of seconds, and it should zoom in around, I think it was somewhere around the Ballsbridge area, and it capture the data in Dublin.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that we'll be showing next week at the FME World Tour in Dublin and Belfast, for those that can make it, is we'll also be showing how this kind of data that could be captured in the field can also be validated by FME, so that it could be checking the authenticity of the data, doing spatial reporting, there's a whole lot of things else that FME server and FME could do and the data is brought in.
So yeah, you can see that I just added in the point in the Google Earth there, and if I click on that, it brings back some information that you entered in when you captured the point. It's only showing kind of figures rather than actual text that you entered in, because I think when you captured it, it brought back the options from separate pick lists in the database.
Yeah, you were taking the, because we used the pick list manager, we entered the text in once, but we used the integer numbers to actually store data, which is very efficient for the database and doesn't increase the field. But yeah, if we had put a wee bit more work, if we had done a bit more with the FME, you can take the pick list values out as well and get the proper text values if you want to bring them in as well.
Yep. So yeah, that's all I'm showing for the time being anyhow. So
okay, so you hand back
here under. Yeah.
Santa, yeah, let's throw it over to me. Okay, so thanks Tony, that's great. And yeah, so the final thing was to talk about quickly before we go into questions is, if you are thinking about mobile GIS survey, IMGS would Leica provide a range of GNSS devices which can capture up to sub-meter, and the one on the right there, the CS25 GNSS with the antenna inbuilt, can actually get down to sub-meter without actually with a single device, which is actually very, very powerful. So just to let you know of some upcoming webinars. Today is our first one. We'll be a wee bit rushed. We're getting used to it. But on the 1st of May, we're going to have a webinar on the GMedia Smart Client, and we'll be showing Active Directory integration and some workflows for planning, property, and cemetery management. And then on the 10th of June, we'll be showing the newest release from the Location Publisher Suite, which will be Location Publisher Pre-Planning 4.3, which has new advanced reporting tools and full support for SQL Server 2008, PostgreSQL, and GMedia Web Map, and of course, as ever, Web Map service support. So let's go, and we've also got some upcoming events which you're probably aware of through Amanda. We have the FME World Tour in Dublin and Belfast on the 10th and 11th next week, and we have our annual conference, IMGS 2014, in the Leary Golf Club on the 27th of May. So if you're interested in a nice business session followed by either a workshop or golf, please come along. So I'm just going to do some questions. So we've had a few questions come through. So I'm going to take some of them first. So can we set a prefix for an ID based on the category, e.g. GF for graffiti? We could probably do that at the database level. But yeah, sorry, the way we do that is the pick list manager can actually do a sub-pick list. So when you pick one, it then gives you other values. So you could actually use the sub-pick list to do that. We might have to do a wee tweak in the SQL to do that. In WCC, we have a unique ID, which is an integer, and this is used to build the ID with a prefix in the character field. That's fine. That again just could be done at the SQL server level. Can date pickers be set to day's default by default? Day's date by default? Actually, that's a good question. Yeah, it definitely can. In the form window, you can set default fields to either remember the last value or use a default from the database. You can also set mandatory fields, that have to be entered, and some fields that don't have to be entered. And finally, you can also have fields that will be blank by default, forcing the user to enter a value. This is very useful from a condition point of view, where you want the inspector to actually put in a condition and not repeat the fields in the last one. So we're very good on that side. Can I have more than one photo upload field? Yes. Yes, you can have as many photo or document fields as you like. It just means creating as many fields in the database. The only overhead there is, saving it. That's more data being loaded up the pipe, so you have to balance that out. We also have, here's the usual question, does Location Publisher Mobile work offline in areas where there's no mobile connectivity? Not at the minute. We're hoping that that's the next release, which will be either 4.4 or 5.0, and that'll hopefully come out before the end of the year. Now, anyone knows me, I've been saying that for a while, but hopefully this is the next release. Can a user add a hazard from the standard Location Publisher using the same forms? Yes, another good question. That's exactly what can be done. Once you create these forms, they can be used in Location Publisher, they can be used on the web, they can be used internally. They're all connected off the same tools. Does Location Publisher support line capture? Not yet. We're hoping that that'll be in the next release with the offline version. And can a user close a hazard from Location Publisher? Yeah, you can close it by, in the drop-down list, you could have a drop-down list value as open or close as a pick list, and then the user can do it. And again, you could even have it that the mobile user couldn't see that field, but an internal user could, so you could configure it either way, you know. So, they could do it either way. Does Location Publisher Mobile support SQL Server 2012? We tested on it in the last month, Kieran, yeah. That's Location Publisher Mobile, and the nod over here. Yeah, and it has been tested, it's been checked. We have a fully certified release, but we think there's no problem. There haven't really been many changes between SQL Server 2008 and SQL Server 2012, so we're pretty good to go there. And will Location Publisher Mobile still use a quick pick app on the iPhones? I think, yeah. We will need to get back to you on that one, John. We're not quite sure. I think we've set it now that it kind of picks up the default camera. We'll have a look at that, but it should be okay. But yeah, we will respond to all any questions that we don't get to today. We will respond to them. But yeah, I think so. Hopefully so. Yeah, but I'll have to check that with the lads with the development. And does Location Publisher support capture by GPS coordinates? Because we started Location Publisher Mobile with mobile phones and tablets, we then had we didn't use capture by GPS because it wasn't accurate enough. So we will now have to add that button in. It's easy to do, but we would only recommend you do capture by GPS using, you know, GPS devices with proper GPS and not assisted GPS that you get on tablets and phones, because we find, you know, you can get up to 20-meter accuracy. John says happy to upload photos from phones as long as actually I think the way we, and now that I've remembered, what we do is we can set in the reason we used ClickPick originally was to compress the image, but I think now on your mobile device you can actually tell it to use compression, so we can use the standard phone, the standard camera, I think, but we'll check that out. Okay, any other questions coming through, Amanda?
I think that's all of it.
That's all, yeah. All right, well, thanks for everybody for coming in. This is our first webinar. As we said, we're going to, as you've seen, we're going to hopefully have a webinar every, pretty much every month, and give or take a week. The reason the June webinar is a wee bit late is because of the bank holiday that month, and yours truly is going to be at the Intergraph conference, so I have to wait till I come back. So thank you all for coming. Thanks for all your questions. As you're leaving, there will be a small survey. It should take, 20-30 seconds. Please fill it in because it'll tell us what we're doing well, what we're doing wrong, and if there's anything we can improve in the future. I don't think we have any other questions come in, so that looks like that's us for today. So thanks to Tony, Kieran here, Amanda. Thank you all for coming, and hopefully those based in Ireland that are on the list today, not you, Kurt, we'll hopefully see you next week at the FME World Tour in Dublin and Belfast. Thanks, guys.